Okay, so let's take a look at an example, and I'm going to walk you through kind of roughing out and cutting out the plaid on a piece of plaid fabric. So I've scaled these pattern pieces down to 50% because obviously they're quite tiny, but I think it'll be easier to see everything on camera. So the first piece that we're going to cut out is the front, and the front kind of dictates where all of the rest of the plaids are going to fall on your pattern. And what I want you to do is to draw a horizontal line across the pattern piece that's perpendicular to your grain line. So this is when a quilting ruler comes really in handy. You're going to use it to line up with the grain line, and where the notch is, the front notch on that sleeve, you're going to draw a straight line. Then I want you to do the same thing at the second notch here, right around the hip mark. And again, we're going to draw it perpendicular to the grain line. And so these two guidelines are going to help you line up multiple pieces and are going to help you match up with other pieces. For the back, to help you orient the front to the back and to find how these pieces correspond, here I'm going to put these side seam to side seam. So you also have a single notch here. What I want you to do is also draw a perpendicular line to the grain line that lines up to this notch. And now you have a line that connects these two pieces and runs around the entire body. This is very important. With your sleeve, I want you to take your top sleeve, and again, perpendicular to this grain line, you're going to draw a straight line where the single notch appears. And that allows you to have a reference line that is going to connect the front of the coat to the front of the sleeve. And then you're also going to draw another horizontal line at the bottom of the double notch here, and do the same thing on the bottom sleeve. So again, I have a vertical line here perpendicular to the grain line. Sorry, I have a horizontal line perpendicular to the grain line at the bottom of that notch. And now I have a connecting line across the two sleeves. So let's just reiterate. If we can get all of these on camera. One line going across around the waist area that connects to the back. We have one going through the arm side that connects the top sleeve. We have one going through the body of the top sleeve and the bottom sleeve to help create those guidelines. And now these lines are going to help orient us as we orient the entire pattern. The other thing I'd like you to do, in particular for the front pieces and the back pieces, is to just draw in very loosely your seam allowance. So it's going to be 5/8 here and 5/8 here, and the same on the back. You have a 5/8 seam here and you have a 5/8 seam here. And that helps to kind of understand, once those are in place, if you have a strong vertical element like a stripe or a line, that seam allowance, knowing where that is going to help you place that line. If you're not a super visual person, if you kind of struggle with this kind of thing, it really does help to trace these pieces on a translucent thing, like either a piece of tracing paper or Swedish tracing paper, because then as you're manipulating the pieces on the plaid, you can see through it, and it's easier to kind of imagine what the final piece is going to look like. So let's start by cutting out our front piece. And what I want to think about is, again, here's that center front line. I've just loosely marked in where my seam allowance is going to be. And I want to think about where I want, with this plaid, I've got these really strong grid, this charcoal and cream line, and then I have these boxes. And so I want to think about where I want this to fall. Do I want to kind of center the center front on that box so we don't really have that strong vertical element happening? Do I want to put it right on that line so I have that strong vertical gray line running right up center front? It's really up to you. My preference would be to kind of get away from this line at center front. I want to be more kind of centered on the box. And I also want to think about any horizontal lines and how that's going to impact the balance of the coat. Here, I'm going to actually mark the seam allowance here on the coat. It's about 5/8 from here. So it's the same thing. Do I want a really strong horizontal line running on the hem, or do I want it maybe centered more on the box? So that's what I'm kind of doing right now, is just taking a look and seeing if there's any strong visual elements that are going to impact the kind of visual impact of the coat. And once I've kind of roughly got it figured out, I'm going to make sure that my fabric is nice and flat. It's not pulling, it's not dragging and distorting. And I'm going to use my quilting ruler to align my grain line. So here's my grain line. I'm going to line Make sure I'm on grain with my stripe. And then I'm going to find my grain line, and now I'm going to weigh my pattern pieces down. One thing to think about is that right now the stripe, the check is the dominant thing we're paying attention to. So it's possible that your fabric is off grain, and especially if it's printed. It's possible that the motif of the check is not perfectly lining up with the grain line of the fabric. And if that's the case, I recommend honoring the visual element more than even the grain line, because you're going to notice if something's slightly off grain, you're probably not as likely to notice that if the stripe is really off grain and you're not able to match it on the side seams. So I've basically found the location of my front, and now I want to find my coat back. So because I have this strong vertical line here, and actually I can already tell it's a little bit off grain, so I'm just going to twist this. Basically what's happening is that this line here is lining up with the underside of that gray stripe. So what I want to do with the back is basically line it up the same way, and I'm almost having to shift the fabric a little bit here because it's maybe slightly off grain. But I want now the same thing. I want this stripe to fall in the same place on the back. So I'm going to line up this horizontal line, underside that gray line. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm also going to think about where I want my center front to be. So I can see my seam allowance here. Do I want to perfectly match on the center back line so that you can't tell where that plaid ends and begins? If that was the case, I might want to line up not the edge of the pattern piece, but the seam allowance, right? That 5/8 mark. I might want to line that up with the center of this box right here. So if I center it on that box, and when I do that on the other pattern piece, these two pieces will match up and we'll have a nearly seamless plaid. There is a tiny bit of shaping here, but essentially you could almost get a perfect book match of that plaid. Alternatively, I might want to, I don't know, place it closer to this strong gray line so that I have a really cool, strong double gray line running down center back. I might want to have a wider box. So we have this big, strong box running down. Again, kind of up to you. I want you to think about where you want that motif to play. I think I would be inclined to maybe have fun. And this is where it gets like, you get really nerdy with sewing. It's maybe trying to have a perfectly matched plaid at the back and just experiment with that. And then once you've got that determined, you can cut this piece out. Now, generally, when you're cutting a fabric flat and you have a pattern piece like this, you would just take the pattern piece and let's say on a solid fabric, you would flip it over so it's mirrored and you'd cut out your next piece. But because we're trying to match plaids, what I actually recommend doing is cut out your pieces, notch them. You know, anywhere there's a notch, make your notch. But we're not marking these circle marks yet because we're going to wait until the piece is interfaced. And use that as your pattern piece. Because then you imagine that this piece has been cut out of plaid. You flip it over, you mirror it, you put it here, and then you can perfectly match up all of the lines and perfectly get it so it is perfectly mirrored. And I want you to do that for the front and the back. So you're going to actually use the piece that you cut out as your pattern piece. You can put these pieces aside because they've already accomplished their purpose. So you've cut out your front and your back. Great. Now let's talk about the sleeve. So you're going to have your front pattern piece, and let's just say, for argument's sake, that this horizontal line that we've used as a guideline through the arm side is lining up again with the that strong gray line. When you take your top sleeve, you're just going to do the same thing. You're going to take that guideline, you're going to line it up under here. It might not be exactly, might not create an exactly perfect horizontal line, but this is basically as close as we can get. And then when you go to cut out your bottom sleeve, you're going to pay attention to where the plaid falls on this line. So right now I can see it's kind of halfway in between this little green zone here. So when I go to cut out this piece, I'm going to line this up so that they're falling in the same place as the plaid. And then once again, once these pieces have been cut out and notched, you can then use those to cut out the corresponding mirrored pieces, and thus you will have perfectly mirrored front, back, and sleeves. Very exciting. Finally, I want you to think about the facing, because what you're looking at right here this lapel is the facing. The front coat continues all the way up, and then it peels back here to reveal the facing. So you have one of two choices. If, for example, you were really cautious and paying attention to where the plaid fell here and here, and maybe weren't thinking so much about the lapel, maybe you don't actually like how the plaid is falling on the lapel. Because of course, it sticks out a little bit, right? It comes out a little bit. So with this lapel facing, you could choose to reorient your pattern piece so that you are happier with where the dominant plaid motif is falling on the lapel, which is the most visible part of the jacket. Alternatively, you could perfectly match it. So you could use the front pieces that you've already cut, and you could locate them on your fabric, and then you could come with your lapel piece and cut out a lapel piece that perfectly mirrored the front. Again, it's up to you, but if you kind of weren't super happy with the placement, this is a good place to correct it, because you're not gonna really notice if you flip it upside or down whether or not they're perfectly mirrored, and it does give you another opportunity to really perfect the placement of those motifs. We've already kind of talked about the pocket. So once your fronts are cut out, you could place your front on the fabric, and you could use that with your pocket piece to basically perfectly match the motif so that you can't really see where that patch pocket is. Or you could turn this at a 45-degree angle, center this motif however you like, and then you're gonna have a beautiful bias cut pocket. Whatever you choose is up to you. But the piece that we're all gonna be cutting out also are the collar pieces. So once again, let's say when you cut out that back piece, let's say you were doing a perfect print match along that plaid to have this plaid perfectly centered down the center front seam. In that case, what I would recommend doing is centering your top collar along that motif as well, so that when your collar is back and is laying flat in the back, you actually have a perfect plaid that's running from the collar all the way down. But you might want to do something else. Maybe you want to highlight that strong gray vertical line here, and you want to center that on the collar. Up to you. What I want you to think about, though, is not only what is centered on this center front line, but what is falling on this collar edge. Because as you can see, this collar is quite large. It's very visually impactful, and I want you to also be thinking about what is happening here. Do you want to have a really strong gray cross happening there? Do you want it maybe more of the inner square is what we're highlighting? So there's two things to kind of look at there, and there's no right or wrong answer. It's just what feels and looks right to you, but this is another fun part. And if you're cutting your top collar, you want to make sure, or your upper collar, you want to make sure that you're cutting your collar stand, your upper collar stand at the same time, and that these all run with whatever vertical element you're centering that on are running through both of these. So this pattern piece does double duty. You're gonna cut the stand on the straight grain, and then we also have an under collar in this same pattern piece that we're gonna use to cut on the bias. And we've already created that grain line for you here, but you can see that we're gonna have one collar cut like this and one cut on the bias. And so you wanna make sure that you're doing the same for that understand. And this one is a little bit less important because you don't really see it unless you're really flipping the collar up. And when something's cut on the bias, you have a little bit less control over the motif. So I wouldn't stress so much about this, but you might wanna think about, for example, here's the center front line. I've got this cross intersecting. Doesn't it look nice if that cross intersecting is happening right on the center of the back of the undercollar? It might be a little cool detail if you ever do flip the collar up. So it's just something else to think about. But those are the main pieces that you need to consider when you're cutting things on the plaid. And if you have any pieces, I don't think in this pattern we have anything that's cut on the fold. Can't remember. If we do have anything that's cut on the fold, you just want to make sure that you're kind of mirroring that piece, that you're not cutting one piece, like half of it. You really want to make sure that's mirrored.